Rick Santorum is on a college campus, and he's going to talk about, he's going to be asked about the issue of gay marriage. Oh, this is fun. Let's watch.
Right for two men to have the same rights as a man and a woman.
Well, what about three men?
Not talking about
No, stop. Okay, I'm going to give people one more chance, and then we're going to move on. So I'm going to ask you a question again. If it makes three people happy to get married, based on what you just said, what makes that wrong and what you said right?
That's irrelevant, and
it's not irrelevant.
My personal opinion, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
What I'm asking you is, how do you justify your belief based on these high morals you have about all men being created equal when two men who want to marry?
Well, what about three men?
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm
I know.
giving them the basic rights that you give you and another woman.
Okay. You know, it's important, if we're going to have a discussion based on rational, reasoned thought, that we employ reason, okay? And reason says that if you think it's okay for two, then you have to differentiate with me as to why it's not okay for three, right? I mean, okay, so you're feeling...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so three. Okay, fine. No, I'm fine with that. Let's just have a discussion about what that means, okay? And so what we're saying here, and if she reflects the values of everybody else, then, hold on, let's calm it down, and then we're going to move on to another question. That if she reflects the values, that is, marriage can be for anybody or any group of people, as many as is necessary, any two people or any three or four. Marriage really means whatever you want it to mean. It has no. Okay. So I'm out of time. I'm encouraged that everybody still wants to ask me questions and is listening, and that's a wonderful thing. Let me thank you all very, very much for being here and for your time and attention. Thanks.
Why don't you talk about your failed Iraq policy, bud?
All right, roundly booed there at New England College, which is not surprising. Hey, give him credit for going down there and trying to convince people that gay marriage is an evil that needs to be remedied. He also, of course, talked about how we should not legalize pot. Now, on to his point about it. Look, it is very clear in the Bible, and this is a Judeo-Christian country, that marriage is between one man and one woman, except for all the parts in the Bible when that is not the case. For example, in the Bible, men are married to many different wives, okay? It's not one man and one woman. It's sometimes one man and 400 wives, which is kind of fascinating. Could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You could also not only be married to your one wife, but you could also be having relations with your female slave. That's also in the Bible. That's kind of interesting. Genesis 16:1-6, Genesis 34:5. By the way, not just your slave, but you could also be having sex with your wife's slave. Fascinating. Okay. Also, obviously, you could have concubines. I mean, there's a lot of different things here. You've got the extra wives, you've got the extra slaves, you've got the extra concubines. There's a lot of different categories of women you could schlepp, according to the Old Testament, in some of the cases, and then some cases, New Testament as well. By the way, the concubine segment is Judges 19:1-30. You could look any of this stuff up. And of course, if you're a prisoner of war and you're female, you're of course allowed to be raped by the male soldiers. That's another way that you could have sex that's sanctioned in the Bible, Deuteronomy 21:11-14. And then, in fact, if you just rape a woman who is not married, well, she can save herself later by marrying her rapist. That is allowed. Deuteronomy 22:28-29. Okay, so you can see that in the Bible, it's always just one man and one woman in just a simple marriage, and that's it, right? Not exactly, by the way. Other things that are forbidden in the Bible are interfaith or cross-ethnic marriages. So we really should go back to deciding marriages, what's legal and illegal, based on what the Bible says. In the Bible, of course, you're allowed to sleep with the slaves. I don't know. Marrying them is a whole different thing. And then you're going to marry someone who is not part of the tribe of Israel. Are you crazy? You can get killed for that. We're really going to judge things on what should be legal and illegal in this country based on the Bible? So is that what Rick Santorum is saying? First of all, if we are going to judge it based on that, marriage is not one man and one woman. You can get married to a lot of different wives and have sex with endless numbers of concubines, prostitutes, slaves, captured female citizens and soldiers, not many female soldiers back in the day, but you do anything you like with them. And then second of all, if we're going to get judged by that, can we go back to a society where, you know, a woman's recourse if she gets raped is to marry her rapist? I don't even want to open up that can of worms because they might say yes. Rick Santorum. We're going to get ruled by these cavemen? Oh, what did the gods say? Oh, I can marry concubine and the slaves and all the handmaidens that I can sex up with who are my wives and mine too. Yeah! One man and one woman, my ass.